Okay, how to avoid getting completely screwed. Okay, so defined, 360 means in addition to monies from sales of the artist's recorded music, the company shares in other income, including touring and merch and endorsements and appearances in movies. Many 360 deals have a catch-all phrase so that if your artist writes a cookbook, you know, there would be a commission on that, or wins a bowling championship. There'll be a commission on anything that the artist made in the entertainment business. Now again, this is not a management agreement. This is part of a record agreement, where traditionally record companies would get 80–85% of the monies from sales of recorded music, but the record companies wouldn't get anything else. Every other income stream was sacrosanct, sacred, not anymore. And why? Well, the first 360 deal was a long time ago with Robbie Williams with EMI, but in the last 10 to 15 years, they've become the commonplace norm. And the reason is, the last factoid in our list here, income from recorded music in the US has shrunk from $14.5 billion in its heyday when I was at Sony in 1999 to less than $7 billion last year. And that's over a 75% decline, and counting for inflation, the record companies need the cash. So they're saying, and this is their argument, they don't say, we're desperate for cash. They give justifications that have some reasonable basis, that 360 deals are fair, because unless we invest in you, you're not going to become the household name you've become and get all that money from touring, which you would have never received, because we invested in you to become what you've become, and we deserve a piece of that success, especially because we can't sell records anymore, except for Adele. Right?
That's right.
That's the only exception. I mean, Taylor Swift had like less than 2 million, and Adele's had 7 million units.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, but very exceptional and very unusual. In the old days, not unusual. So they also argue that we're giving you a big advance. We're giving you tour support at the beginning of your career as a performing artist. You might have to open for a big act. When you're an opening act, you don't make much money. You might be losing money, and the record finances your tour. And the label makes a great video. So how to improve the deal? Net versus gross. Always try to convert to net. And I gave you this example before of what gross could turn out to be. Gross could be grossly unfair. Usually is. Advances in cross-collateralization. This is easier said than done. But depending on your bargaining power, I know if you have a bidding war, you say, look, okay, you can have my touring, but I want $1 million up front. I want an advance. And if you get it, then it should not be cross-collateralized. So if the artist is unrecouped on production costs, then the label should not be able to apply the red balance to the other income stream. Should not be able to recoup from unrecouped advances for each income stream. Block each income stream. So no publishing. Record label is not a publisher. Each of the big labels have publishing affiliates, but the record label should not become the publisher. Now, where this actually fits in is the production company masquerading as a record company. They're sometimes even worse. Big record companies will usually not try to get you publishing, but a production company, remember the two guys I was talking about?
Right.
The producer and the hedge fund guy? They might say, hey, by the way, we're your publisher too. That's really gross when I see that, but it happens all the time. And that would mean that we get 50% of the income, and then they'd own the copyrights in the song. Okay, carve-outs and making the label work for it. If you represent an EDM guy who's making $100,000 per festival, you could argue to the label, look, you shouldn't touch that. The guy's making the money already. You didn't make it for him. You're not helping him. And then, as I said before, sometimes you get the label to work for it. So if the label gets a placement in a movie or a television show, then they should get some money, but otherwise not.
Or sometimes what you can do is make sure that the record label only agrees to commission a certain number, a minimum number, after the artist has gotten a certain amount of income. So, like the first $100,000
right.
touring,
yes.
The record label won't commission.
Right. That's
anything
right.
over $100,000, they will. If you can get that, that's a good thing to have.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.